highway speeds are not fun at all. This is not fun to drive on the highway. Alright guys, what's going on? Today is finally the day. This thing is going to run today. Basically we've just got steering lines, coolant lines, radiator, and a battery terminal. And I think that's about it. I'm going to change the oil just to be safe because I can't remember even if I drained it or how old the oil in this engine is. So we'll change that, but let's get into it. Now these are just power steering lines off of my old drift car, which was running a power steering cooler. I'm going to run the same cooler on this car. So these lines are already made to fit this car and a cooler, with just some braided line because I got sick of blowing the rubber ones on my old car and actually set it on fire. Until I got under the front here, I actually completely forgot that the 4 cylinders and 6 cylinders have different sway bars. You can see that the engine is actually sitting on the sway bar. So I'm going to have to see if I have a 6 cylinder sway bar, and if I don't, I'm just going to have to not run one, because either way I've got to drop this one because it's currently holding the engine up. I might actually just be able to space it because the engine didn't actually move very far down, so maybe a nut on the thread and then another one to sort of space it down a little bit, and I might be right because I do want to try and run a sway bar. All my drift cars I've taken the front sway bars off immediately, and a thing that I was watching the other day was saying that a front sway bar actually gives you a little more room for error with your steering input when you're drifting, so I might try and space this one so I can still run it. So this is my old power steering setup here. You can see just a cheap eBay cooler. I've got a reservoir there. Basically, cooler just mounts at the front here. I have to drill some holes in this like I had in my other one so that I can have it there. Reservoir mounts off this bracket just here. And basically, since I put that in, I had zero issues with power steering leaks, power steering overheating, blowing lines, anything like that, which used to be a big deal with the factory rubber line. So that kit in my new drift car there, that is actually going to have a electric power steering pump. So this setup is just going to bolt straight into this one. Well, we have our first little problem. Because this alternator is not the one I was running on this engine originally, I had a slightly smaller one, but it was stuff, so I had to change it. The power steering reservoir hits the alternator, so it's not going to just bolt straight up to the old bracket. So I'm just going to remake the bracket so it sits here, and then we'll have some clearance around the alternator just there, ideally. Alright, it's going to be a lot more of a pain in the ass to fill once this bracket comes across the top here, but you can see I've just used some nuts to space it off the side there and just moved the bracket over so we're nowhere near the alternator. I am going to have to move my catch can because my catch can used to mount down the bottom there on that engine arm, but that would hit that. So it's going to be a little bit more of a pain to fill, and one day I will probably fix it and move it to a better location, but that is not going to be until I've got a serious power steering issue, because I'm really bad for just like, I'll fix that one day and then never doing it. Okay, so that was a little bit more of a pain than I'd like to admit, but everything going well. We now have a sealed power steering system. So reservoir, cooler mounted up in there, line goes through down to the rack down there. Now this was my first ever attempt at setting up a cooler, and this is basically just the exact same setup on this car. So I'm not 100% happy with it. I've learned a bit since then, so I would like to change some stuff, but I just kind of want to get this car driving, so maybe in the future that'll be something that I'll mess with. For now, let's just get this filter changed and get it full of oil. I'll put some water in it. I don't want to bleed the system completely because I'm probably not going to be able to use this sender because I'm getting a cheap thermofan controller coming in so that I can actually have a fan. But we'll put some water in it, put some power steering fluid in it, fill it with oil, and see how she runs. New filter going in. Don't want to over tighten these because you can pinch that O-ring and then it spits oil everywhere. Right, let's hopefully not make a mess. There's a lot. I'm going to use the photo. Hopefully. Well, we have dash lights and I can hear the fuel pump, so we'll prime that a couple times. We've got no crank. I betcha it's the wire from the auto. Hard to see in the sun here, but I've done some just twist and tape of those two wires. I'm pretty sure that's just grounding the park neutral switch. So we'll see if it fires. First start. getting an exhaust because I want it quiet and sort of stealthy. Well, there you go, it runs. I'm pumped for this car. I actually hate the look of compacts, but this thing is actually making me kind of excited for them. So I don't want to run it for too long because it's got no water in it until I get that sensor changed over for the one that comes with my new fan controller. So once that gets here, I'll be able to bleed everything up, and that clutch fitting is all I'm waiting on for it to drive then. But let's get all the rest of the front end and everything else put back together, because I want this pretty much ready to drive as soon as I get those two pieces.
In my veins, I've been driving this train, years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la 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 la. And I'm up again. I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right.
The little part we've been waiting on has finally arrived. So pedal box is back out of the car. We're going to put this fitting in it, put the line on it, and it can bolt in and stay there. That was a real pain in the butt to do, and I really hope I never have to put one of those in again. All right, the Beamer, I'm sorry I didn't get to film the last bit, but we just got the gauge and stuff in it. I kind of needed to get it done in a rush because I had to move this out of my carport. I'm taking it to get the exhaust put on it, and then this thing's ready to drive. It's going for its first drive. I'm excited and nervous. This might not make it to where we're going. As you can hear, this is extremely loud to drive. At least the speedo works, but the tacho does not, and the temp gauge does not, so we're just hoping. This is not going to be fun on the highway in this, because this will easily sit fifth gear at 60 k's an hour with the small case diff in it out of the 4-cylinder with the 6-cylinder engine. So I saw a cop on the other side of the highway. Hopefully they're not turning around to come after us. Good news, they're not coming after us. There is just cops and fireys and stuff all over the bridge at the moment. Looks like there's been a car accident or something up there that's holding us up. Good news means they probably won't pull me up for this exhaust. Yeah, fifth gear highway speeds are not fun at all. This is not fun to drive on the highway. Alright, I've just come back and picked the Beamer up, and this is a lot more acceptable noise for being able to use this thing and not instantly attract attention. As an added bonus, my mate welded the diff for me while it's there, so I guess it's time to see if this clutch will actually handle a couple of kicks. So while I'm sitting in here editing this video, I've realised that there is no footage of me actually test driving the car with the new exhaust and stuff. Unfortunately, I do definitely have to buy a new clutch. The clutch that's in it, the car won't even hold second gear doing a standing burnout. It just slips. So yeah, I'm up for a new clutch, which if I'm going to get one, I'm going to go with a lightweight flywheel and a heavy duty clutch like I have in my other drift car anyway, because that's handled everything I've thrown at it, especially with stock power. Really good reliability for just a little drift car.